Michelle Obama can't stop telling the world how hard her marriage is to Barack Obama.
I heard you say that you had 10 years where you didn't even like Barack. So I'm like, man, where is that coming?
And people think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband. You know, I just tell the truth. You know, it's like you have these periods, right? And if you're married for 30 years, you know, you just look at the odds. And as I became a married woman and I talked to Mom, I shared some of the frustrations. And because the girls and I are very irritated with the way Barack chews.
Oh, my
Well, I was one of those wives who thought, I'm taking you to marriage counseling so you can be fixed, Barack Obama. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm perfect. I was like, Dr. X, please fix him. And then our counselor looked over at me. I was like, what are you looking at? I'm perfect.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
I'm sick of Obama's wife. Yeah. This isn't some Republican rant either. It's just kind of first ladies in general. You know, I don't know what it is. All throughout my life, with each presidency, like these first ladies, they've just gotten more and more like chatty. You know? More and more chiming in, like leaning into the frame, spitting out their ideas. It's just like, why are you talking? Right? You weren't elected. Shut up. Your husband's not running a lemonade stand here. He's running the country. You don't just chime in. Let me guess, is this considered sexist? It is? Why? Well, okay, you just nodded there, lady. Let me ask you this, all right? Let's say you had a leak in your house, okay? You call a plumber up. He shows up, and he goes, yeah, I think the leak's coming from the upstairs bathroom. We need to shut it up, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden his wife walks in, who isn't a plumber. And then he goes, oh, you know, I'm actually thinking it's kind of out of time. Wouldn't you be like, with all due respect, shut the up. I need a plumber in this moment.
Listen, I understand marriage being challenging at times, and any time when you have to learn to work with a group of people, you know, or anybody else, any individual, you're going to have moments of challenge. Sure. I say it all the time. But I am getting sort of tired because I used to look up. I should at least respect and admire the fact that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, you know, they've been able to build what it looks like is a family and have children that aren't an embarrassment to the family. There are plenty of celebrity couples and famous people out there whose kids are just an embarrassment. You know, you're like, what happened there? But what I didn't expect is that's exactly what Michelle Obama has become. I think I am tired of seeing different wives get on camera and just shit on their husbands. You know why? Because when they do this, you never see it the other way around. Perfect example. You never see Steph Curry get on a podcast and talk about his wife the way his wife gets on a podcast and talk about him. You'll never see Barack Obama get on a podcast and go into detail about all the ways that Michelle annoys him and the things he can't stand about her. It's always the other way around. And that dynamic and relationship for men who value, especially more traditional marriages, men who value respect, they don't want that type of a relationship and dynamic, right? It's like the Homer Simpson, oh, he's so annoying, he's so stupid, I can't stand him. It's one thing for you to have that type of lighthearted back and forth with your close friends, you know, when you meet up and talk to other women. Maybe when you're talking to your man, you know, you get on each other's nerves once in a while. It's another thing to get on a platform. And in almost every situation, when you talk about your marriage, you're just constantly talking about how terrible of a time you're having, right?
The amount of complaining that comes out of Michelle Obama's mouth about Barack, I don't understand why she just doesn't get a divorce. I think she thinks that doing these podcasts are inspiring, but she just continues to reveal how much she hates her husband.
So now that we're empty nesters, it's like, well, what are we going to talk about? So we're together all day, and we do this thing where it's like, I'll see him, and it's like, what you been doing? It's like, oh, don't tell me until dinner, because we're We gotta have something to talk about at dinner.
That is so strange to me that she's talking about how she doesn't want to communicate with her husband throughout the day because they need to save conversation for dinner. So are you telling me that your guys' relationship is not comfortable enough that you can stay silent together? I understand if you guys just don't talk ever at all, but in a good, healthy relationship, silence should never feel awkward.
Sitting there in a place that you know what matters to you in that moment. Mm-hmm. And are you curious about your partner's edge or where they're at? Like, what are you thinking about? Do you really go there? And then do you really say, because how many times somebody asks, what are you thinking about? And you're like, well, let me make up a thing because I don't want to actually tell you what I was thinking about right now. Which was like, the way you're chewing makes me want to smack you upside the head. That's why.
You would think that she would speak a bit more highly about him. Not because his ego is fragile and he needs it, but you're married to a man who is the president of the greatest country in the world. He will go down in history books, no matter how anybody feels about him. And when people go back to search and think, I wonder what his wife thought of him, it's going to be just a bunch of takes of her talking about how terrible of a time she had during their marriage. Let's pause for a moment to thank the sponsor of this channel, FathersHaveRights.com. Did you know that prenuptial agreements are becoming significantly more common? Yes, especially among young generations like millennials and Gen Z. In fact, one of the expert attorneys featured in our prenup guide says he drafts 3 to 4 prenups every single week, and some firms draft more than 10. The truth is, far more people have prenups than you may realize. Want to know how to get a prenup before it's too late? Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section and take the first step in securing your future marriage and join the hundreds of men protecting their marriages the right way.
So for the roughly 99.987% of Americans who have not watched Michelle Obama's newest podcast, you don't have to do so. I'll just report on what the hell's going on over there. Now, in a recent episode, Michelle essentially continued to out her family as she has been doing on this podcast. First kind of outing her husband and his flaws and, the issues she has with him. And then, of course, family dynamics, etc. Well, on the latest episode, she went on speaking of how her kids had decided to distance themselves from their parents. When I say distance, I don't just mean like, oh, they went off to college, just a little physical distance. I'm talking about they didn't want to talk to their parents anymore. As a matter of fact, I believe one, if not both the daughters, changed their name. Yeah, they no longer want to be associated with the Obama name. Now, you may think to yourself, okay, I know that it must have not been easy growing up in the White House and having all that attention around you for 8 years, etc. But what would lead a child to want to remove a name which supposedly is supposed to have so much significance, power, and honor, I would say? Unless, of course, they didn't actually believe that, but instead they saw their name as problematic. So again, this is just my own personal opinion, but I believe that there are things that were happening behind closed doors, things that these young ladies were exposed to that they want nothing to do with. Because there have been a lot of kids that have gone in and out of the White House, some for 4 years, some for 8, and I have not heard of any changing their last name. Most of them would use their last name. You know what I mean? But this one, it's a little sketch. It's a little sketch.
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh, yeah, really, huh?
That's so
The
nice,
rumor
man.
mill. It's my husband, y'all.
She took me back.
Now, don't start.
I can't.
It was touch and go for a while.
It's so nice to have you both in the same room
I
together.
know.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think we're divorced.
Really? John Edwards have Secret Service? What about John McCain, Mitt Romney?
Probably not.
Yeah. You know why? You're a coon. You're a nigger. Running for president of the United States. So yeah, there's a little difference between you and those other candidates, Barack.
I could be president of the United States. Can you find it in yourself to be a little excited for him?
Excuse me if I can't share in the excitement of my husband potentially being shot.
In Instagram world, you know, you see two loving people doing a hard thing in the world, you know, always on stage, giving each other a hug after a big speech.
And making it look easy.
Right.
And it's not.
And a lot of young people could look at that and go, I want a marriage like Michelle and Barack.
Right.
And it's like, well, let me talk about what marriage is, you know, because it's, even when it looks good, even when it's great, it's hard. And so I think it's important because, you know, it's very easy to quit on a marriage.
Yeah. Which
Am I reading into this too much? Comment down below. Is there maybe a video that I don't watch Michelle Obama's podcast regularly, but even the podcast that they did between the two of them, which I actually did check out, I just didn't react to it. There wasn't this, you know, there's that thing. Like everybody was like, oh, look, they hugged. You know, just the fact that people were like, oh, look, they were hugging. I don't know. Comment down below.
Michelle Obama, I'm listening to your interview. And you said you were trying to humanize Barack Obama. Who appointed you to humanize Barack Obama? You are his wife. Who appointed you to humanize him? You took it upon yourself to say, I need to humanize him, so I'm going to speak to his faults and I'm going to say what he does wrong to humanize him. This woman is full of it, man. I'm telling you. You weren't trying to humanize him. You were trying to humiliate him and denigrate him and say, he ain't special. I'm the brains of this operation. I'm every woman. It's all on me. That's what that is, Michelle. Tell the truth. You've been hating on Barack. You've been sending so many subliminals. Barack got shot more times than 50 damn cent. You done sent so many strays his way. Bing, bop, bing, boom, bop, bop, bam. The type of hate Michelle got, you ain't gonna understand. You gotta stop this, Michelle. What the hell? Michelle?
In this part of the podcast, she goes on to talk about how irritated her and the daughters are of how Barack Obama chews.
Because the girls and I are very irritated with the way Barack chews.
Oh my.
Well, chewing is the essence. Like you hear the otherness of a person, right? You hear they have a body, they have saliva. They're like you. It's like.
What are you talking about?
But why does it annoy us? Should we? Is that a statement of something deeper?
And if it doesn't annoy you, is that a statement of something deeper?
No.
That's not fair.
Whatever this is right here, I see a pattern. I don't think most men want the type of dynamic and marriage for men who value marriage, where if a woman was to get on stage, it would sit there and just talk about all the things that they don't like about their husband. I don't think they would want that at all.
So our forever president, Obama, admitting the fact that he's just now getting into his wife's good graces, you understand that he's just now getting on level ground after digging himself out of a hole that he done got himself into with his wife, was not on my bingo card. That was not on my bingo card this morning. So Obama's at a booking in London, right, for his speaking tour. This was Wednesday, yesterday. And he was quoted stating, I was digging myself out of a hole I found myself in with Michelle. Now I'm about at level ground, he said, according to the Standard. The former president admitted that it had been a challenge to repair their relationship, which most recently came under public scrutiny when Michelle did not join him in attending the funeral for former President Jimmy Carter in January. She also skipped President Donald Trump's inauguration barely a week later. And the lack of her presence was very telling. It was very, very, very telling. We knew from that moment on that she was not fucking with you, that she was not fucking with you right then and there. And even though it don't matter what I think, I'm still going to tell you guys what I think, because I already know that there's some miserable souls out there that's going to be quick to jump on the whole, he cheated on her, he probably cheated on her, he probably cheated on her, and I don't I don't think that that's the case at all here. I honestly think that whatever happens is probably a situation that's similar to the situation that happened with Judge Mathis and his wife. See, men like Judge Mathis and Obama, they got a problem with retirement. They want retirement, but they got a problem with retirement. See, when you're the kind of man or kind of person that's just been working all their lives, and not just any kind of work, but high intensity, you understand work, especially with them being in, you know, politics, in law, all of that, they're dealing with a heavy workload. And even though they can't wait to escape that and finally put that behind them, it's a really tough transitioning period. They went from working and having, you know, basically no time because all of that time was prioritized towards other things according to work, regarding work, to now having all this free time and they don't know what to do with it. And so they start finding all these fucking hobbies and trying to, you know, basically make sure that in their day they're doing something productive, because these men, these people, they're used to being productive, you understand? And it's not to say that these women don't understand the type of men that they marry. They 100% understand. It's just that they believe that there's a time where they sacrifice everything for their husband's career to help them get to the place that they need to be. But once the career is over, once that's done, retirement is up, it's here, they expect for that same amount of energy that you've been putting into your job for you to be putting into your marriage. Now it's time to come back home. You understand? Now it's time to put that energy inwards. And the thing is, because they have all this time, they're doing all these hobbies and everything. Hell, the man is on a speaking tour as we speak. They can't stop working. I think that it was probably a situation like that. She's like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, especially considering how much Michelle sacrificed. Because she too could have had a very promising political career, but she took you feel me? She decided to put that on the back burner so that she could help and push her husband. Now that that's over, he done accomplished the highest fucking position that you can get, the president. Now it's time to bring that energy back home. It's time to bring that back home. I just think that he could not stop working. He kept trying to keep himself busy. He kept trying to find hobbies, figure out certain projects that he can do. And all this time, you understand, Michelle is waiting for him to give that energy back to the family, to her, if anything. They got they're empty nesters now, right? Both of their kids are out of the house. It's time for us to get back together. It's time for us to reconnect. And since you're not hearing me, oh, you gonna feel me. And just like when Judge Mathis' wife silently said, you know what, I'm just gonna give you these papers, I'm just gonna walk away, that removing of their presence speaks louder than any words. It speaks volumes. I promise you, a good man, when his wife takes her presence and goes, when a man, a woman, whoever, to be honest, if you just date women, you understand, your woman, you know, you got a good woman and she removes her presence from your life, you feel that shit. You feel it. All of a sudden, all them little things that she does is not little anymore. It's not little. It meant a great deal. It actually, you feel me? Like, it meant a lot. It means a lot. Those little things that she does to make your day run smoothly, it makes a world of difference. You understand? And that's what he felt. I bet you that's what he felt. Hell, imagine the whole world talking about, where's Michelle? Where's Michelle? You're at a funeral, your wife not there. It's the little things. You go to this inauguration, your wife's not there. And everybody know that your wife is your ace. That's your boom. Like, that's your... You feeling that. It's not even just people at the event being like, yo, where's Michelle? Where's Michelle? Where's Michelle? You feeling it, like you getting ready, you leaving, your wife not, you feel that. But just like, you feel me, Judge Mathis was able to get his woman back, I'm so happy that Obama was able to get back on good footing with his, because I don't know how we would have taken it as a community. I'm not even gonna put it into the air. I'm not even gonna speak it into existence. But yeah, I'm just really happy that he got it together. But again, and I would hate to be a real famous celebrity, because the fact that you motherfuckers was right, that would piss me off. Imagine, you know, you going through this and the world is like, yeah, Michelle not fucking with him right now, and you know that your wife not fucking with you right now. I would hate that.
Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon-to-be married men. If you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.